Welcome back to the next episode of Beyond the Show. Today I have Daniel Charles Clift with me.
Hello, Amy Morris.
My best friend of many, many years.
In the whole world.
And the creative director at Pop Up Global.
The Codfather.
The Codfather. The creative operations director. The Codfather.
The Codfather.
So we're going to talk today about how we met, how we work at Pop Up Global, and how we make us being best friends work to our benefit, because a lot of people, I think, are under the idea that you shouldn't work with your friends, that it could end. I mean, It was still only a few years and it could all end
It
in
could
hell.
all go tits up.
So we're going to talk about how we make that work.
Yep. And the challenges that we do face.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be interesting to hear about those challenges.
Not that I haven't got any, sorry. Let me just close my notes. Amy said no, but Dan said yes. And now we've got this jingly mess. Laura and Shelley, they won't admit. Secretly, they're loving it. It's your fave podcast, hosted by Pop Up. I should have done a vocal warm-up, but here we are, so get ready to know what goes on beyond the show. Beyond the show. Do, 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 do. Beyond the show. Do, 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 do. Beyond the show. Do, 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 do. Beyond the show. Yeah.
So let's touch on at the start our relationship in work and our uniqueness of our friendship and relationship, and then we can go right back to the beginning.
I think we've got a really great working relationship. I do think we're maybe one in a million.
Yeah.
Because we've just got such a good mutual respect of each other. But we can be silly best friends too.
Yeah.
And I don't know many relationships that are like that or could survive it.
No.
Because working together is tough. They always say, don't work with your friends, don't work with family,
Yeah.
don't work with kids. And I'm all three of them to you.
Yeah, it's true. But I also think when things are hard and when things, especially for me, and I'm like, Dan, I'm drowning over here. It's nice that I've got you there and that you're more than just a colleague. You are like my family and you are my best
it is
friend.
exhausting because I can't just leave at 5 if you're feeling the stress. I've got
Also, sorry, this is the nicest we are ever
Yeah, I
to each
know.
other.
Don't, it's killing me inside. I'm like smiling.
Right, so let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
January 2012. I remember. It was January the 2nd.
2012.
I know.
We're so old now.
2025. No, we're not. We're young. We
Yeah.
were just really young then.
Yeah.
So maybe talk about what you'd done very quickly, because I know you've discussed it on another podcast episode before that led to our meeting.
So I had done, well, we all heard about my Disney journey.
Yeah.
And my Pontins.
And your girlfriend.
And my girlfriend, Megan. I hope you're still listening, Megan. It's the real journey we're going on. Also, actually, can I just start by saying we've tried to do this once before. So if we can get through this 45 minutes, it'll be a miracle, because we tried this once a couple of years ago and we just couldn't get through it at all.
I don't even think we released the episodes.
No. So anyway, I did 3 contracts on ships. No, I did 2. And then on my 3rd one, you came storming into my life like the little pocket rocket you are.
Yeah.
And yeah, we did two contracts really
Effectively.
together.
Yeah. And we met in Keighley in Yorkshire. I don't know if anyone's ever been.
If you haven't, don't bother.
Don't. I saw someone take a wee on a car park on a Wednesday afternoon in Keighley.
Welcome to your new job. It's a real shock to the system, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we were put up in this accommodation. It was all these bunk beds. The floor was like wonky.
My bunk bed was next to the toilet. My mum was like, I can't believe I'm leaving you there. Your head's in toilet, Amy.
I was once in one of the houses and there was a tree growing through the living room wall. No, we just had to cope with the fact there was a tree there.
And there was mould and there was the bird poo everywhere
Yeah.
outside where you look. So it was awful. My mum cried.
It was tough.
And she did drop me off there. And then day one, we met.
just clicked.
Yeah.
I said this on my podcast. I was like, it sounds so corny and cheesy, but we did. The minute that we started speaking to each other, we've got the same humour.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just clicked.
And we also met our other best friend, Anna.
Yeah.
And the 3 of us are really close. But sometimes I think even she's like, you two are weird.
Yeah, because we are weird. We are weird. Your husband in particular, when we're sat at home, we'll be crying over the littlest of things. And he's just sat there like...
Yeah, don't get it.
Yeah, and we're trying to tell him, like, oh no, you really need to wait on the set. Nothing.
No, and it was like that from day one.
Yeah.
So then we obviously embarked on 12 weeks of rehearsals together, and you were my dance captain. Now, we touched on this on a few episodes ago. I'm not a dancer.
I can confirm.
But
Listen, you were a trier. You were absolutely a trier. You're lucky you met me. I
Right,
got
go
you
on.
through that rehearsal process. It was my first time as dance captain. And I thought, God, this is a challenge, isn't it? And we would go back into that studio. In fact, I'd take a bottle of wine with me. We'd go back into that studio and we'd be going over and over the routines. But I did love that about you. You did cry. You did have your moments, but you were never like, I'm not doing it. I'm
No.
walking away. Actually, didn't you have that one time you cried outside the hairdressers? Sat on the wall.
yeah, because I couldn't get... No, wait. I was going to say a step ball change. But
Step ball. In fact, we used to have to write down all our choreography, which is so old school. The fact, like, I don't know why we were made to do that. It was such wasted time. And I used to help Amy write hers, be like, right arm up on 5, 6. And then one day I looked at it and she'd written step, bull, change.
As in...
And I was like,
herd
what?
animal.
Yeah, what's the bull about? And you're like, well, that's like the move. And that was what we were starting from.
Yeah. I didn't know it was ball of your foot, obviously.
Yeah.
But I thought it was bull.
Yeah.
Step ball change.
But you really progressed.
Yeah, I did. And I think once I realised that it was just, yes, like, listen, I have rhythm. I could do it.
Yeah.
But once I realised I had the confidence to do it, then
It
I was
was
able to pick it
confidence.
up. But I really did put you through your paces in that first.
Yeah.
I remember you saying to my mum she had to start paying you to
Yeah,
be my friend.
I literally called your mum. It was so exhausting. Every day there'd be something. I had to call your mum. I never even met her. And I was like, listen, Janine, if I'm going to be your daughter's moral support throughout this whole contract, I need to see some kind of financial reward. Whether that be holidays, money in my account. And she did take me on holiday.
Yeah, you've done all right
Yeah,
out of it,
I have done
think.
all right.
So then, obviously, we went on the ship
Yep.
and we were sailing around the world, predominantly Norway.
Yeah.
Um,
But we loved it then.
yeah, we did
We'd
love
never
it.
been before.
Do you remember when we first walked out in Flom?
Cried.
In Norway.
Cried.
Yeah, it was stunning.
It was so
beautiful.
emotional. We were in our life jackets. We were doing crew drill.
Yeah.
Which takes away a bit of the
And
joy.
we were so young. We were 22. We would never have thought then that we'd be here.
No,
Now.
I definitely didn't. I knew I was going places. I knew I'd make it. No, I'm joking. You were always going to make it too. But yeah, I said this on my podcast. If someone had told me when we were on the ship that one day you'd be running this global entertainment company and employing me, I'd have thought you've got the wrong Amy. Thinking of someone
You can't
else.
even get through a number without
Yeah.
tears.
Yeah.
So obviously, when we were on board the ship, we had some good times and we had some bad times. I've discussed how hard
Yeah.
that contract was. And still to this day, honestly, I don't know whether it's like PTSD, I'm not sure. But I would say that's the hardest I've ever been pushed in terms of workload and persist. Like, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And our cruises was predominantly 7-day cruises.
Yeah,
So
it's
it was
just non-stop.
constant. But we did have some really good, fun times.
We had the best times.
What are some of the highlights for you?
Oh my God. One, well, it's more about me, but so we had a cruise when both our parents came on.
Yeah.
And it was like when two families meet, like meeting the in-laws.
Yeah.
Because we were literally like a couple on there. And I remember, I was singing them bones, them dry bones. And he used to have to come into the audience. And I was trying to make your mum and sister laugh because I'm not professional and was just a joker. And I was playing with this guy in the audience on the front row and he just didn't move. And then I saw your mum's face be like, oh, and everyone was pretty much like, Danny's dead. And I was on stage singing them bones, dry bone. And I can remember the sick coming up thinking, I've brought everyone's attention to this guy who's dead on the front row. And he was the whole song like this. Until the very end, he came back alive. And I swear the audience were like, oh, God, thank God. Oh, thank God.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Do you remember the day where we were in Flom, actually, and we all decided to drink orange vodka on the
What,
train?
on the train?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the train. Now, guys, try this at home. But we We had a really...
So that sums up our life now that you think that needs a danger warning. Kids, don't try that at home. Don't drink orange vodka. That's wild.
But at
now
the time, it felt like
yeah,
freeing. And we got off and we all drank on this thing. And then I remember being hungover and
Yeah.
having to go do...
a show.
Not a show. I had to mic a game show.
Oh, we had to do some rough stuff on there.
Rough stuff.
Rough stuff. Do you remember when you gave me a seasickness tablet? And when our parents were on again,
Yeah.
and we were doing a really big dance show, and I don't do well with seasickness.
Which is funny because you spend a lot of time
a
on
whole
ships.
life on ships, and I don't do well with it at all. And you were like, pop this pill. So I did, and it made my mouth feel like it was made of cotton wool. And we were doing the can, and I swear, my lip was like this, and it couldn't get any moisture. I kept licking my lip, and then it just
And your mum was like, there's
flipped
something
back
up with
My
Daniel.
mum thought I was dying. She
Yeah.
thought, yeah. After the show, she came running back to be like, what's up with you?
I remember looking and your lips were stuck up into
Yeah,
your gums.
literally, I was doing the can out. It was horrendous. It was horrendous.
So we finished that contract in 2012 and it was almost a year that we were together then.
Yeah,
And then in 2014, was it 2014?
yeah,
We went back again on Fred Olsen,
yeah.
which of course is the
Full
cruise line
circle
we
moment.
have the contract for the entertainment for. And we were on the Balmoral
Yep,
and you were company manager.
I was.
Now I didn't last the whole contract.
You didn't. You did
On
leave
that
us.
one.
But for very good reasons.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of them things where working with your friend, yes, as your manager, you should be like, you're really leaving us in the shit here. But I knew that you had to go. And I
Yeah.
can remember you talking to me, and I just called the company who we worked for and didn't even give them the option. I just said, Amy's leaving
Yeah.
at the end of this cruise because you had to get off.
Yeah, I did.
You weren't right.
And it was good because that was the summer, and by October, I set up
Pop-Up was born.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
When you came back off that cruise contract, and I'm
Yeah.
like, listen, I've set up a business where I'm playing Elsa at the weekends.
Yep.
What did you think?
I did think maybe you'd lost the plot. I thought, I mean, it had come after you were saying you were going to be a pharmaceutical rep,
Medical device, but whatever.
medical device rep, whatever. That, for me, was rogue. And it was one of the moments where you think, you just got to go along with it. She'll drop out of it soon. And then when you started the princess parties, I thought, one, you've got balls to be doing that and posting it all over Facebook.
Yeah.
And again, I think I maybe thought she'll grow out of it like you're a kid. She'll move on from this. But then I also saw the money you were making, how the business was growing. So then that mentality didn't last very long. I was very quickly like, oh, this is it.
Do you remember either the first event you came to or the first time I roped you in?
You wrote me in a lot. I've done a lot of stuff for you.
Oh, by this point, though, we were living together.
We were living together.
So when you came back off the Balmoral, we got an apartment together in Manchester.
Yeah.
So you were really in the thick of
The thick of Pass the Parcels.
Pass the Parcel rapping at the weekend.
And if ever you had a kid who had dropped out who couldn't play a character, I'd have to call in sick to go along and help out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. It was such a fun time watching you grow that, but it was odd how serious you were taking it.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of times when I thought, Amy, come on, you're doing a princess party. Why are you acting like we're in this big operation and it's this multi-million-pound company?
It's just the way my mind works.
It is
Sam.
the way your mind works, and you've never left
No.
that mentality, which has got us to where we are today.
Yeah.
I am glad you've got that.
Did you ever play Olaf?
Yeah, no, you once did send Olaf to my house to welcome me back from a contract, which was really nice. No, I never played Olaf. I did play Kristoff, which is so rogue, and so camp to be playing the love interest in a Disney
You're a
film.
man. That's all it took at the time.
Yeah. We've done listen, if you all really do your research, there is some real tragic stuff that they could find of us.
Yeah.
We recorded You'll Be in My Heart with
Number one on iTunes.
it was
Number one on iTunes.
for the song You'll Be in My Heart.
Recorded, not Phil Collins.
Yeah. We did that with a music video. We did, you booked out that theatre in Blackburn and you wanted all the princesses to dance to Crazy in Love by Beyonce because you were like, this is going to go viral.
Before viral was like it only went viral on Lab
We spent
Bible.
the day filming this. I choreographed it, which I'm not a choreographer. I'm really not. It's a miracle I was a dancer.
You were also Prince Charming.
Yeah.
That the princesses had to fight over. And I love you, but you were the gayest
Oh,
Prince
God,
Charming
it was awful.
we've ever.
Awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've done a lot of lows, I'd say, to get to where we are now. They're not
And
lows.
what about the scarecrow?
Oh, at the farm.
Yeah.
You've really had me doing a lot of stuff, haven't you? A lot of it I've blacked out.
But what made you? Because also there's stuff that I can try and make you do and you don't do it, like post on LinkedIn.
Oh, here we go. Is this what this is all for? Just to bring up all the stuff I don't do at work?
But what my point is you won't be told to do something. And you will do things to help me out, but you did a lot. Why?
Because you're my best friend. Because it really mattered to you. And I could see that you had that drive to make it something big. I do think it was it felt a bit like playing a game. Like, oh my God, one day we might run an entertainment company. And I actually think it felt like that until we won the ship.
Yeah.
It just felt like, because we were pretending. We've got no experience in running a business. We just know entertainment. So we were just enjoying it. And I did enjoy the stuff that you were doing.
Yeah.
It was
it
fun
was
to be around.
And we were doing it with our friends, and the people that did it then, we still work with now, a
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yeah. And listen, I was working for an entertainment company that wasn't very entertaining. It was so corporate that it didn't give me the buzz I thought it would. So coming to your events, even just to watch and be a part of it, be able to be backstage or help out, gave me that drive to want to better pop up, to want to help.
And when we were doing those kind of events, and so like the princesses and the farms were like really, really early days.
Yeah.
And then we started to do things like P&O ferries as an
Yeah.
example. But you would just come on.
Yeah, that felt like a joke though. When you were like, we're going on P&O ferries, I thought, no, you're mistaking something. What do you mean?
Why?
Because it felt big. P&O is a big name.
Yeah.
And we'd done parties. You'd done parties and small events. That, yes, now in the grand scheme of things, P&O ferries is a small thing compared to what we do now. But at the time, it was massive. It felt like such a huge step.
And because of our background and we'd done ships and that's where we'd met, you and I definitely, and then Laura and Shelley as well, because their background was ships, but you and I used to speak about it all the time, was like, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
And so the ferries was like a step in that direction, because then we could say, okay, look, we've done entertainment at sea,
Yeah.
but we know we're capable of doing more.
Yeah.
And so it did feel like, now, I'm not taken away from that. Like, it was so, because at the time it was massive,
Yeah.
and we were really impressed with ourselves that we'd managed to get
Definitely. You've done a really good job with
that opportunity. But we did share a bunk bed.
We did.
In a
And listen, let me tell you, Amy is not the one to share a bunk bed with. You, the minute you open your eyes, are 100 miles an hour. And I'm like, I like to wake up, maybe go get a coffee, just take the morning, and then I'll come into life. Whereas you open your eyes and Amy's like, what do you think about this? And I was thinking last night that we should do this. And God, it was a lot, but loved it. And if anything, bring some of that back now. I love that I could just sit at the back with a beer and watch and have no responsibility.
that now?
Yeah, but now I've got more responsibility. Now I have to keep my eye on it.
So something that we do need to touch on, and you don't like bringing this up,
Go on.
was when you went viral.
Oh, let's talk about me going viral. I do love being in the spotlight.
Talk us through it.
So we were living in our Manchester flat. Obviously, we had every princess and superhero costume just in the flat. And the building opposite us, it was laterooms.com, were having a fire drill. And the whole building had been evacuated. And out on our balcony, there was just these hundreds of people gathered outside waiting for the drill to finish. I was on my way to work and literally just turned to him and was like, I'm going to put the Spider-Man costume on. I'm going to go out on the balcony. You egging me up. Go on, do it.
Because I'm thinking this is great content.
Yeah. Ran and put the Spider-Man outfit on. Came out on the balcony. Hello! That gay and that terrible American accent. Hello! Does anybody need any help? Everyone suddenly started cheering. We were like, lol, that's really funny. I've got my laugh for the day. Feel great. Went to work at the bar. Didn't know that while I was in work, Amy's sent it to Lad Bible.
I don't think I sent it.
Oh, maybe it got picked up.
It's because the people at the bottom were from laterooms.com.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a big hotel
Yeah.
booking platform or whatever. And they, I think, sent it.
Yeah.
How many views did you get?
3.3 million. It's actually still going up sometimes.
Is it?
Yeah.
You don't check it.
Once a year, when it comes round, I check them views. But by the time I finished work, I opened my phone and I've never had so many notifications in my life, apart from when I would do Christmas at Pop-Up. There was so many notifications and I genuinely felt famous. And I'll not forget the moment I thought I've made it in the viral world was I was in the queue at Tesco and two girls in front of me were watching me on the video and they were laughing. And I was behind them like, that's me.
But that's the positives.
Yep.
What were the negatives
Yeah.
of that situation?
Luckily, I've got really thick skin because, I mean, we all know what social media is like now. The trolls were out in full force.
Yeah.
People had written, gayest Spider-Man ever. I wish my mum hugged me as tight as this suit hugged him.
No, Spider-Man skipped leg day.
Spider-Man skipped leg day. If I was down below, I'd have shouted, jump off the balcony.
Yeah.
Mean
awful.
people.
But me, how dare you say that about my friend? He's a really good
No,
Spider-Man.
we found them so funny by the end. We were just tagging each other in them and I was writing to people, thanks, when they'd written a really savage comment. But it was fun.
That was a taste of fame. So,
I've got a question for you.
right.
Because, so you asked me why I wanted to help and why I did help.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know when I was helping out that you wanted me to work at Pop-Up?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Go on,
Because
tell us why.
I'd seen how hard you worked on the ships.
Yeah.
And how seriously you took company manager. Now, by seriously, I don't mean I'm the boss and I make all the rules, because we know that isn't
Yeah.
what flies. But you really cared. You were super organised and you were really good at being friends with everybody, but having their respect. And I remember, like, by the second contract, we'd been best friends for 3 years. So we had a relationship outside of the company manager role, but I remember really respecting you because of the way you are able to be with people. And I think if we did a poll at Pop-Up, that would be the feedback, that everybody really respects you. It's very rare people cross the line with you in terms of disrespecting you. It's happened,
Yeah.
but it's not that common
Yeah.
because you're really good at striking a good balance. And I saw that early on. You're also the most organised person, bordering OCD, that I've ever met. And so I saw all of these.
Which is great
things.
because you're one of the most unorganised people I know.
Yeah, yin and yang. So I knew then, and obviously you had a job at the time
Yep.
in the entertainment industry, and even though it wasn't a job that you particularly enjoyed, I saw still how hard you worked for them and the passion you had for the product.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how you felt there, you still really, really cared about delivering a really good product. So, yeah, I feel like I knew early on, and I think we had that conversation really early on.
Yeah.
Maybe we both thought it was going to be a pipe dream, like, when we're older, you'll come work at Pop-Up.
Yeah.
But
Two best friends go into the office.
yeah. But then I think as the years went on and your responsibility at your old job grew and you learned things, because you brought things to Pop-Up that we didn't know because you'd worked at a big company. So you knew
Yeah.
about organisation, structure, processes, that we were just winging it because I had everything on a
Post-it note.
Post-it
On
note.
the back of an envelope.
Yeah. So, yeah, I did know.
That was
Early on.
1 minute of me feeling really great about myself.
Did you know early on that you would leave the security of a job you had to go to a company that was growing?
Yes. I think the minute that you started to get bigger and bigger and you were getting like actual cast members into the studio, it was singers, dancers, and knew that that's what I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
When I used to go to these one-off events with you. Bearing in mind, actually, until that point, I probably didn't even realise there were one-off events.
Yeah.
And I was saying this on my podcast, that my limitation to entertainment was actually quite small because all I knew was cruise ships and Disney and Pontins, which
Yeah.
is all like contractual stuff. That then seeing you do all these really fun, mega one-off events, I wanted to be a part of that. And then it also helped that the worst I started to feel in my current job, not my current job, my job I was
At
in,
the time, yeah.
that was pushing me even more.
Yeah.
But I am a worrier in life, and I did, you had to have something secure to bring me in, because I was used to earning money, and I did have stability, and I had a job that I could progress within. But then, just as the months went past, all I kept thinking about every day in work was I just want to be in that office. When I used to come and see you when I was off, we were all having so much fun. The studio was so fun. And then I'd go back to my office and it'd be like I was back in recruitment. It was so dull. It was just toxic. It was awful.
You were just a different person in that period of time as well, which kind of drove the rest of us to be like, we need Dan to come here, because you've never suffered with mental health really, but that period of time you were.
Yeah, and for how much we advocate it, I really don't suffer, and I've always been open about that, and I'm fine with my mental health. But that one period, I came to your house, didn't I, and I just cried. I was like, I can't do it anymore. And then you had a contract in the pipeline, and you were like, listen, if we win this contract...
Which one was that?
Beer Keller.
Oh my God, Beer Keller.
Bear in mind, I wasn't a performer at this stage, but you were like, if we win this contract, we'll employ you to be in the show.
Yeah.
Because Beer Keller, for anyone who knows me, is my bread and butter. Yes, I am this camp, pink-wearing, flamboyant gay, but give me a room of stags and hens and a stein of beer, and I am happy.
You came alive.
So we went to watch it, and I thought, I'd much rather be doing that than my job that I'm in right now.
And then did you do... Honestly, it was that many years ago. Did you do that plus...
So I actually quit my job before you'd won that, because it just got so bad. There was one day, I can remember, I was in Aldi on the middle aisle, the best bit, and I rang you and said, I've got to hand him a notice. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I think you must have thought, shit, what if we don't?
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. But I just couldn't do it anymore. And I thought, do you know what? You just have to leap. You just have to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
We know I want to go work there. What are we waiting for? So yeah, I did Beer Keller, and then you brought me in one day a week to work in the office.
Yeah.
And that was when we started working on the Fred Olsen presentation.
And then, of course, we won that.
We won it.
And all was well then, because I thought, I've got a lot of payroll here.
Yeah.
All of a
you
sudden.
were all right. Oh, I've got a job.
God, Beer Keller, what a time that was.
Yeah.
And then obviously it was COVID.
Oh, that was bleak, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we did grow a lot in COVID.
We did, and by the end of it, I loved it. We were doing the drive-in panto.
Yeah.
Great. Really loved it. All the drive-in shows.
It actually all worked out well in a really small amount of time, because you joined in 2019.
Yeah.
It was 2019. Did 6 months of this Beer Keller contract.
Yeah.
Which then we never did again after COVID. But during COVID, we had a solid team of us then...
already in place, working to it.
Ready for when the...
And because we were such a small company, it was all in our best interests to succeed during COVID.
Yeah.
It's not like you're working for this huge limited company where there's so many employees who are just taking, what was it called when you got... Furlough and not doing anything. We were genuinely working solidly.
And it was obviously for our own benefits, we need to work to keep... But we loved it.
Yeah. I did that quiz.
Oh my God, Dan's big night
That was a full-time job. But great.
So I guess in those early years, 2019, 2020, even though it was COVID, me and you had to establish what our working relationship was going to be like.
Yeah.
Because we were friends and we were colleagues.
You were my boss.
I was your boss.
You don't call us colleagues normally.
That's a lie.
When we're locked in our little rooms working away. But I don't think we ever sat down and were like, right, these are the things we need to be careful of. We've just along the way found each other's...
And I think we're not afraid of having uncomfortable conversations. I find them less uncomfortable than you do.
Yeah, I hate it when Amy gets serious. Oh, God.
You said it was sexy last night.
Yeah, it is if I'm not on the receiving end of it. And it is, and this comes back to us being silly as well, because also sometimes when you're serious, like managing director, in my head I'm like, lol, this is funny.
Yeah, but you only find that funny if it's like external. So if I have to be boss to whoever that is, afterwards you're like,
yeah, I'm like, God, that was good, well done.
But when it's you on the receiving end.
No. You say I sing.
Yeah. No, Dan has this terrible habit, right? Maybe it's a tick. I don't know. But I will be like, Dan, we really need to have a conversation about X. And he knows that it's serious. And he automatically goes, ba-ba-da-da-bum, ba-da-da. I start singing. And I'm
Always
like,
good night, sweetheart.
yeah, I'm like, did you hear me? And it is a nervous tick that I can be like, you're singing.
I think I'm like that in general, though. I don't like serious things. I don't
Yeah.
like serious situations. I'd much rather just laugh and joke about something.
But then when you're in it, you are fine.
Yeah.
But I think I know you and you know me so well enough that even if I have to have the serious conversation, I'm not thinking, oh my God, he's going to quit and then we're never going to be friends
Yeah.
again.
And we are good at that. Like, if you have to, not that you have to tell us off, but okay, let's talk about LinkedIn.
Dan Clift and LinkedIn.
So we don't have to, but Amy
No, you have to.
makes us post every day on LinkedIn, and I just don't enjoy it. So sometimes I forget it's an honest mistake, but she does have to pull me up on it a lot. But you're not scared to do that.
No.
And I don't take that and then be like, not speaking to Amy now for the rest of the day.
It's just
like
done.
as soon as you've done it, I'll be like, I'm so sorry. I know I should be doing it. Then I'll be like, look at this meme I found.
Yeah. I feel like,
Is that my worst trait, do you think?
really good question. Is that my worst trait?
Oh, think about it some more.
Yeah,
Well, is there a few?
I feel like what I forget in you is that ultimately you are just a bloke.
Yeah.
And so I treat you a lot like my female friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like you have more to say on that.
No, well, no, you carry on.
And
Are you talking about in the work environment?
Yeah. Well, in life.
Yeah.
And so I forget, and me and Anna have this conversation behind your back, that you are just a man. And so you're not in tune to us as females as much as we expect you to be.
Right.
So sometimes if I'm upset about something, I think you think, oh, she's all right now. Don't need to ask her about it again. I don't need to bring that up. Or I don't need to see if she's
because I'll be
all
like, are you okay? Yeah. And then if I don't ask you anything more, you're like, do you
and
not care?
You're like, are you all right? I suppose so. And you're
See,
like,
I
good.
suppose, good. I'm glad you're feeling better.
But a female friend would go, you don't seem it. Talk to me. You're like, oh, she said she's all right. No
yeah,
worries.
you
See
do
ya.
treat me like that.
And I'm like, oh,
And out of work as well. Yesterday
Yeah.
when you were getting ready, what were you telling me about? Something about your nails and your hair getting long and that you've had salmon sperm injected into your eyes. And you went on for so long thinking that I'm going to be like, have you, babe? Go on, show me.
no, it's because I'm like, listen, I'm having French tip on my nails. What do you think
Right.
I should have on the gun? And he's like, who do you think you're talking to?
Right.
And so that's probably your worst trait, is that I need you to be more in
Feminine.
touch. Well, just more emotional.
Okay.
But also you not posting on LinkedIn does infuriate me. Because you say, oh, we don't have to. No, you do have to.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was more you're encouraged to.
No,
It's a half.
I think I might draw up contracts that you sign on the dotted line. You must post on contract.
You've got me here on false
monthly.
pretenses on this podcast.
Okay, what are my worst traits?
You've got none. Was that what you wanted me to say? Did I say it right?
No, go on. This is a safe space.
Your worst trait. Okay, your worst trait. Let's talk about yesterday. Because, dear listeners, let me fill you all in that yesterday we were supposed to record and film this podcast, but we didn't do it. And I'll tell you the reasons why. And this is what we call an Amy Morris. We set off late because you took too long getting ready, because you are late for everything.
I think it's the ADHD.
Late for everything. We were already late. Then we got in the car and she went, oh, I forgot the hard drive and I need it. So she went back up to the apartment, came back down. So we're even later now. Then we get to the place and she can't work out the parking on the app because she's
That's
got...
not my fault. Sorry,
No.
rewind. He took a wrong turn.
No, yeah, don't forget about that bit. It is your fault because everything is an app nowadays and you treat it like you've never seen a phone before. You're like, Dan, what does this mean? What do I do? So she did that. Then we walked into the building for the podcast, which as we got to the lift, she went, oh no, sorry, this is the woman who does my facials building. So we came back out. I wish this was an exaggeration.
It's not
Go
this is
down
so
to the
true.
next building, By this point, we are 20 minutes into what should have been our podcast session. We get to the reception and the woman's like, what are you here for? And Amy says, we've booked a podcast session. She said, no, you booked it at the other place. It's 20 minutes down the road. And that is just an average day.
And then I was like, that does ring a bell.
Yeah, yeah. And then you were like, oh, I remember now last week she said that studio's not free. And that is your worst trait.
How do you sum that up?
So, I would sum it up as careless, but not as harsh as that sounds, because you are so on it with so many things. Anything business related, nothing can slip past you. If I go a day without posting on LinkedIn, she's got it. But just that kind of thing, you just live in the clouds sometimes.
Yeah,
you're
I'm
like
a passenger princess,
Yeah.
like
And you're
outside
like,
of work, and I just need to be.
Yeah. And it'd be like, it only takes us 20 minutes to get there, so we can probably do it in 10.
Yeah, but you don't like being
No, I'm
late.
a 3-hour early kind of guy.
Yeah, and I'm like, if I'm 10 minutes late, no worries.
Honestly, yesterday was the epitome of a Morris
I know.
day.
And I honestly sit there and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Because I've not sat here and been like, I'm going to do this on purpose. But then each one happens and I'm like, how's it come to this?
Yeah.
So that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
Because we missed in the end.
Because we had to rebook for today.
Okay, moving on from that. What do you enjoy?
Just the one trait, am I allowed?
Sorry. No, go on.
No. I was going to say your other one is a positive one, is that you get imposter syndrome when you shouldn't. I think sometimes you forget how powerful you are. And
Powerful?
Yeah, you are powerful, and how much of an inspiration you are. And I think sometimes you forget that. Probably because you've got too many other things going on. And
Yeah, trying to work out the party.
Yeah.
I think it's actually really common to have imposter syndrome
Yeah.
across all industries, in any role.
Yeah.
But in particular, I think when you're building a business and you win contracts, and then I think the bigger we've got, the more people, and this makes me feel uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
not because I'm ungrateful. For some reason, it makes me uncomfortable when people, especially people that I don't really know, say you're such an inspiration or you're doing so well. And Shelley always laughs at me because she's like, when you walk through the studio and all the performers want to say hi to you, I get so uncomfortable, and I don't know why. And I think maybe it is imposter syndrome, that I'm like, I'm just like everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm just like you, and I'm just like you. I'm just doing a different job.
That is when our friendship comes into play, when you walk through the studio like big boss bitch who owns Pop-Up Global, and all the performers are like, guys, Amy's there. And that's when I'm holding in the laughter, thinking she's so uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
She's trying to get through that studio as quick as possible.
But it's not a criticism of the people that feel that way.
No, it's
more
their way of respect,
Yeah.
of showing respect.
But I just feel like I don't put myself on this pedestal
Yeah.
as this
But
business
then on the
owner.
flip side, so you have imposter syndrome, but then if anyone dares underestimate you,
Yeah.
oh God, they better run.
I think it's more like the performer and creative side, who probably are inspired that we're ex-performers and we
Yeah.
built this company. But on the other side, if somebody then tries to disrespect me or underestimate me,
Oh,
I do love being underestimated.
you do, and you're really good at it.
I really thrive
We
off
all
it.
just sit back,
Yeah.
popcorn.
And when I'm ready to write that email,
Oh,
it brings me alive. So that's a juxtaposition, isn't it?
yeah.
Big word.
Have you been using Word of the Day, Lou Roll, in prep for this podcast?
So what things do you enjoy about us working together? We've got past the carelessness, etc.
That we laugh. Like, there's no better way to get through work than to be laughing with your best mate. Actually, what is really amazing is that, so when you do something really great at work, you want to share that with all your friends. And yes, your friends will always listen to you and they'll always be like, oh my God, well done. But when they're not in that business, they're not invested like you are. So they'll congratulate you on a promotion, or, like when we when we win big contracts, even my mum, like, I'd be like, we've won Ferrari World. She'd be like, oh, well done.
Yeah.
I think, no, it's big. Come
Yeah.
on. Whereas we actually get to enjoy that together.
Yeah.
And you are the person I would be calling to say, oh my God, this mega thing's happened at work. But actually, we just get to enjoy it together.
Yeah. And I feel like what we are in danger of doing, but we actually enjoy it, is when we go on holiday together, when we go out for dinner together, when we go on walks, we talk about work.
Yeah.
But not in like talk about work, in like, it is our life.
Yeah, this is what's
and
happening.
we post about this a lot and we talk about it a lot. And I imagine there's a lot of people that are like, I don't buy it. But it is our joy and our passion. And the wins are great and they make us feel amazing. And earning money from this is great. But it's the day to day.
Wait, who gets paid?
No one else.
Laura and Shelley don't get paid either, right?
No.
Good,
it's all
fine.
charity.
Yeah, fine. Carry on.
They do get paid, just to clarify. Someone will take away from that. I feel like it is the day to day that is the most enjoyable.
Yeah, it is. I, on my podcast episode, I said to Shelley, one of my favourite memories is your elbow slipping off that chair. That's the kind of times when it's so great to have your best friend also be the managing director of the company, because you've done all this work to get us to this mega client in a boardroom. We're experiencing pitching this presentation together. We're doing all of these things for the first time together, but then we're also stupid and laughing.
Yeah, but that is how it should be, because I think
Yeah.
we've spoke about this before. I think a lot of people like get into business and get into these roles and they're like, this is how I should be. I'm going to use, where's the getting?
Yeah,
What's the
you
GP?
are like that.
No.
Yeah, I can tell when you've had calls with corporate people. Because
Right.
all of a sudden you'll message me and Laura and you'll be like, guys, we need to work out the GP on this. And where's the RSCKILMN? And I said to him, well, our P&L better match up. And we're like, well, you don't talk like that normally. You'll be like, guys, what profit are we making? Guys, where's the money? Show me the money.
But I feel like, despite that, it doesn't need to be serious like that in
No.
any industry.
No.
Yes, we have a really strong level of professionalism with our clients. There's no clients that would ever say we're unprofessional, but we also bring in a personality with our experiences with clients that we have in our friendship. And so our clients enjoy working with us because we bring this to it.
A lot of our clients come from a corporate business, so they're bringing in entertainment.
Yeah.
That should be entertaining for them. It shouldn't just be the end product that they're like, oh, that's great. The whole process of making entertainment is fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Whenever we get with a client, I mean, we've got so many of them on Instagram who reply to stories or just WhatsApp us, or like I've got clients who will hear a piece of music and they'll send it me and be like, can we do this in next year's show? And it's so good to have that relationship.
And that's because we've created that at Pop Up, because you spend, well, us, we spend 80% of our life at work, and we might do for the next 2 decades, 3 decades, God knows how long. I don't want to get to my 80s or my 90s and think, God, I put a slog in there, but now I'm retired and I can enjoy it. Like, we enjoy.
I want to be at a stage where I'm like, I don't want to retire.
Yeah, because we're having so much fun.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to be understood a lot more in other. For example, last week you presented to a very big client and there was maybe 12 of us on the call. We all turned our screens on.
Yeah.
And Dan is wearing a tuxedo and he's created a backdrop that says The Dan Show. Now, these are pretty big clients but you bring that level of joy to the job that we try bring and just do
'cause
naturally
it's just
bring.
fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that's nothing that would suggest we can't do the show.
No.
We can't deliver these things. It's just everyday humour. Everyone is just going through life, trying, pretending.
Yeah.
There's no point acting a certain way
No, there isn't.
for the sake of it.
And we also have that relationship. We're talking like it's just us two. We have that relationship with everybody else.
Yeah.
At Pop
We
Up.
have genuinely, especially the four of us, me, you, Shelley and Laura, have got such a unique bond. We've all got our own individual friendships as a pair,
Yeah.
but then we've got...
Like you and Shelley go play golf together.
Me and Shelley are like the lads. We'll go play golf. We'll go grab a beer. We'll go to the cinema. Me and Laura are like brother and sister.
Yeah, you are.
Constantly just bully each other. But if anyone said anything bad about her, I'd attack. I've got her back 100%.
Only you're allowed to say the bad things
Yeah,
to her.
yeah. Or if anything, I'm like, damn it, why didn't I say that first? But then the four of us when we're together, it's just so special.
Yeah.
And I think to work in that environment is why we create such good stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
Because we're up on our feet doing shows to each other, and
You are.
Laura is. Any opportunity to sing.
In her actual singing voice
In her
as well.
actual singing
Every
voice.
time.
She doesn't do it as a joke.
No.
She does it dead
She
serious.
puts her full singing
She does,
voice on.
until we laugh, and she's like, I didn't mean it. I was just joking.
So, we're coming to the end of this episode.
Right.
So, with our friendship and our relationship that we have, what does the future of Pop-Up look like for us and for the company, do you think?
I just think we're going to strive to get bigger and better stuff so that we can create bigger and better opportunities for us to enjoy.
Yeah.
And there are not many friendship groups that get to travel the world together, that get to see all these amazing entertainment shows that they've created together. That I think that's what's probably going to drive us more, because it has got better and better.
Yeah.
Like
It has.
the days out, we're going to like Blackburn Mall, or like if we were at Thornton Hall Farm, it was
Yeah.
like, God, we're going to Yorkshire today. Whereas
Yeah.
now we're like, where are you flying? Like, I'm flying to Mauritius next week.
Yeah.
If someone had said that to us
With
5
Anna.
years ago, with
Yeah.
Anna, when I started, me and Anna are going on a ship. We're going to Mauritius. We're going to Cape Town. Then I'm here in Dubai with you. It's just madness that we get to make money, we get to do a job we love, and we get to do it as BFFs.
And we talk about that all the time, don't we, on our Teams calls? Because we always start the week off with a...
There's never much work talked on
yeah.
it.
And then on a Friday, we round up the week. And we always talk about...
In fact, I've just remembered another worst trait. Sorry, you and Laura eat on every Teams call.
Because it's at lunchtime,
Yeah, I know,
because
but
we're
it's
4
so-
hours ahead.
We're morning, and you two. Sorry.
I'll mute it next time. But we always talk about the vision of the company. And I think we've been really, really great at sticking to the vision and our values, our morals, and sticking to the strategy of only taking on opportunities that we're all going to enjoy together.
Yeah.
Because we have been so victim in the past of taking on jobs for the sake of it that we've hated delivering. And we're never going to do it again.
No.
Because we really care about us lot having a great time together as best friends, doing a really good job, getting really good feedback, and then enjoying that feedback together as best friends.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
think-
pumped.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
But it is a really unique situation.
It
and we
is.
all went to the Maldives together in January.
Oh,
which
did we?
It was amazing.
It was incredible.
And
And that's what because of our friendship as well, you want to treat us because you want to enjoy things with your friends.
Yeah.
So we reap the benefits of that too.
yeah.
We reap the rewards.
And I remember Shelley saying, people are questioning if it's odd that I've gone to the Maldives with my work. And she's like, but she doesn't get it. They don't get it. Like, we are
Yeah, there's not many
genuinely-
other jobs where if
In a
your
villa
boss
together.
was like, do you want to come to the Maldives with me for a few days? No, thank you. Actually, maybe the Maldives, a lot of people would say yes, but
Yeah. And it is just a very unique and genuine
yeah.
relationship that you and I have got, but that we've got with, and we get to, again, we keep mentioning Anna, but she's a choreographer at Pop-Up, so we get to work with Anna a lot.
Yeah.
And then we create these friendships as well with people that we weren't
I
friends
was
with
just
in
going
the
to say,
past.
everyone that comes through the door ends up being
Yeah.
a mate to some extent.
And it is just really nice, and I do feel very lucky.
Yeah, we're lucky.
Yeah.
You're the driving force behind it all, so we're lucky.
Thank you. So finishing, we
Yeah.
always answer questions that people have asked. What would you say the key things are with working and growing a business with a friend to kind of mitigate any...
I think you have to
Challenges.
know the boundaries. You have to constantly remind yourself that when you're in work, you're there for the good of the business. To be able to enjoy all these things together, the business has to make money. You have to be professional. But I do think just don't take it too seriously and understand that each other has a job. So if you, I keep talking about LinkedIn, it's the only example because it's the only thing I do wrong. If you have to tell me about LinkedIn, I can't hold that against you. I have to understand that you're right in saying that. So I have to respect that decision.
Yeah.
In the same way that you trust me so much because you've put me in this job, that if I say, I think this is the best thing to do for this show, you'll say, okay,
Yeah.
because you trust me. And I think it's just having that mutual respect for each other.
And I think adding on to that is also having the confidence to have the awkward conversations.
Yeah.
So that next time that will never happen again. Oh, I didn't like it when you said that in front of that person, or I didn't like it when and you just have those conversations, you nip it in the bud and you move on, and then eventually those stop happening because you learn.
Yeah.
Where the line
We're
is.
so open with each other. I think you're right. If you've got a best friend who you don't maybe pull them up on stuff, but you're sat at home and you're like, oh, she's really annoys me sending that message, but then you don't say anything, don't work with them.
Yeah.
Because there'll be too
Agreed.
much that you
Yeah.
hold in. Whereas if you've got that best friend who can message you and you go back, you reply, I don't like the way you said that.
Yeah.
Or what are you saying that for? You're fine.
Yeah.
You've got the relationship you need
I think
to be
the
able to do it.
friendship has to be super strong, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, because we are, corny, but we are like family. Like we are like a brother and sister. And you're part of my family, I'm part of your family. So it was already super strong before we entered this like working relationship together.
Yeah. God, hasn't this been a soppy episode?
Yeah, and then we'll go back to scrapping in the car.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Can't
Can't wait till you've not put the parking ticket on the car or something and we've been towed.
Great. Lovely way to end. Daniel, Cliff, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Amy Morris, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
And tune in for future episodes of Beyond the Show. Thank you.
Bye.